the Fermenter King 35-liter Snub Nose fermenter. This is my favorite version of the P.E.T. lineup fermenters that we make at Keg King because they're super easy to use. And now with the Generation 3 design, the lid seals even better and gives you, the brewer, an even higher level of control and fermentation than ever before. You're really going to love the ideas that we put into this one, including a THERMOWELL, a dry hop port, and central aligned pickup so that your pickup tube doesn't float off to the sides. 35-liter in volume, still conical shaped, still fits in a Series 4 fridge. Let's check it out, brewers. So let's go ahead and unbox this one and see what's inside. So this is what's inside the box. You'll get a tank, a stand, this bag with the lid assembly and the floating pickup tube. And this is the newest piece of hardware in there. It's the THERMOWELL that's going to attach under the lid of your new Snub Nose. So let's see how we put all this together. Let's start by taking the tank out of the bag that it comes in. So inside the tank, you'll see there's the volume sticker and a stick-on thermometer sticker. So this is your lid, and the new design has it so that there's this O-ring that goes around the lid assembly here, and it fits directly into the neck of your Snub Nose fermenter. This is a much better, tighter seal than before. The collar that goes around this is going to hold that tight within the neck cavity of the fermenter. So also with this design, you'll see we've given you the dry hop port with the PRV. The pressure relief valve is the PRV. And this pressure relief valve sits within this port in the lid here, which is your dry hop port. So if you so wanted to, you could depressurize the vessel and add hops right through the lid. Then gas back up after you've reattached everything, and it's a very sanitary, very easy way to go ahead and dry hop if you dry hop your beers. So we'll put the port into place. We'll put the PRV into place in the port for the dry hop port. And this is what's going to lift at 2.4 bar if you're running at that high of pressure. So now, just to make it easy for the assembly, we'll go ahead and put the cap into the neck. So locate a dip tube. Now they should both be the same size for either post. This one's on the gas post. This one comes with a liquid post. Either way, they're both the same size. They're going to fit one to each side of this center port here, which is for your THERMOWELL. So go ahead and push it through, and the same for the one for the gas. You're going to locate a post, and for each post, you're going to have a poppet and a spring. The spring is kind of conical shaped, so the poppet fits in the narrow section of that spring, and then you're going to push it into the post itself. And then you can choose to put this on either side. It doesn't matter. So, being a stainless steel to plastic connection, you really want to start by pushing down on the post with the spring and the poppet in place on top of that dip tube, and start by going backwards first until you can feel where it actually kind of bites on the thread. Then just hand tighten it, and it'll go straight into place. Just take it as far as you can go finger tight. The new lids and these seals work really well, and they don't have to be cranked on. Do the same for the other side. Now we'll go ahead and we'll do the THERMOWELL underneath. So remove the lid and go ahead, just like the other side. You can start by going backwards to make sure it has a good purchase on the thread. And then you'll simply screw this right into place. You can make it tighter with a little bit of a spanner tightening on that THERMOWELL. But even just finger tight, it should be really nice and sealed. So now that you've got the top assembly all put together, what we're going to do is do the floating dip tube. So go ahead and remove this from the tank and just set it aside for a second. Because what you're going to need to do is locate the floating stainless steel float, and you're going to put this keychain onto it. So on this medium-sized hoop that holds the dip tube connection to the float, go ahead and stick this key ring. So that's going to hang there. Now for your silicone dip tube, if you use a bit of spray sanitizer or something to moisten the inside of the tube, you'll be able to slide it up onto the tube connector that's on this smaller hoop. So once it's on about that far onto the tube, it won't come off. So that's a nice tight seal there. Now this portion, this key ring that we've just added to this, is going to slide onto the THERMOWELL. And what we're going to do is, by simply holding the floating tube there, we're going to measure to the post so that we can cut and just have the amount of tube that we need to hold this directly in the center of the tank. So that floating dip tube is going to be traveling up and down the THERMOWELL. Now it's easy to remove afterwards because it is a bit stretchy, so you'll be able to pull it and get it off of there if you want to do cleaning with it off of the assembly. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and kind of just mark that area right around in there with our fingers and go ahead and cut the excess. And then what we're going to do is affix this side of it to the dip tube under the post. So what happens now is when this is inside the tank and you are fermenting, it's going to be up somewhere around here, and when it gets to the bottom it'll be there. But it's not going to be floating off to the sides, picking up sediment off the walls of your fermenter. Pop it back up on top, seal it back down, take your collar for the lid assembly, spin it into place, put this thermometer sticker on the outside of the tank, which will give us a rough idea of the ambient temperature around the fermenter wherever we put it for fermentation. And go ahead and fix it someplace in about the center. So the last thing to locate is your volume sticker. It marks out all 35 liters, and at the 28 liter line, you're going to find a red line. That red line aligns with the outside seam on this tank. So while this thing's not under pressure, go ahead and put the red line directly on the seam, and then straight up and down, you'll be able to mark out all 35 liters on your new Snub Nose. So go ahead and pull the backing and put that 28 liter red line flat against that seam, push it in, smooth it out to the 35 line on top, and then just simply move it straight up and down. There you go. So that's how we put that sticker on, and that's the last thing that you have to do. Before you put beer in it, a little bit of cleaner and sanitizer, because there's always manufacturing dust in everything that you buy new. None of these things come pre-sanitized. You're also going to check for pressure leaks. So once you've got some liquid inside of it, 5-6 liters or so, let's say, of sanitizer, and you've sanitized out the inside of the tank, make sure to run some of that sanitizer out of the dip tube and through the post so that the inside of those are nice and clean as well. At the same time, while it's under pressure, about say 5 to 10 psi to start with, go ahead and spot check for pressure leaks under the posts, around the PRV assembly, around the dry hop assembly, around the THERMOWELL, and underneath this cap lid here. That's the only way out of this fermenter because the rest of it is a closed bottom vessel. So we hope you enjoy this. These are all individually pressure checked. Each and every single one of our vessels is pressure checked off the line to 5 bar, more than twice its operating pressure. We make sure that these are safe for our users and that the PET plastic that we use is super strong. We've even proven this by lifting cars with these things so that we could showcase exactly how strong the PET polymer that we use is when we make these tanks. So we hope you enjoy them. I know I love this tank. It's really changed the way that I brew and a lot of other brewers out there, how they brew as well. It makes transferring and kegging super easy, and everything else about it, from carbonating to fermenting, is just so much easier in your brewery. We hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, brewers.